This is insane. One man owning Twitter? Welcome to Business Rant and Growth, and today we'll be discussing Elon Musk offering to buy Twitter for $44 billion, and Twitter seems to accept the offer. First, help us out by hitting the subscribe button and the like button to help our channel grow. So Elon tweeted that he loves Twitter, and so the guy, I'm assuming more of a joke, told Elon to buy it, right? Like, yeah, his name was Dave Smith, sorry. And so he said, you should buy it then. And Elon Musk retweeted that by tweeting, how much is it? And then, probably yesterday or today, Dave Smith tweeted, this exchange continues to haunt me. Yeah, I would assume so if you're not a fan of Elon, I guess. I don't know whether he is or not. But it seemed like he isn't, since he says this exchange continues to haunt me. And in that tweet, that back and forth tweeting was in 2017. So yeah, I'm sure he's rethinking about that. So anyway, following the pursuit of purchasing Twitter, Musk bought a significant amount of shares way before offering to outright buy it, right? And a lot of us who follow Elon, we know he loves to dance around things. He loves to show you what's in his left hand, and then he's doing something else in his right hand. That's why you gotta think a little more to what he does, right? Like, he tends to have more going on, or have more intention behind his tweets than is led to believe, right? And so he bought a huge portion of Twitter. I think it was like $3 billion worth, and they offered him a seat on the board. Now, this is the part where I would say a lot of us started questioning, right? Because he rejected the offer to sit on their board. So that's where a lot of us started thinking, like, this is interesting. Usually when a investor buys that big of a chunk, that they would usually take a position on the board, right? Because you have a lot of voting power, you have a lot of say so, and he rejected it. So that's when I kind of started knowing that, getting the idea that he was likely going to find a way to buy more or all of it. This is the thing that I wanted to hit on first, right? So after he purchased a significant part of Twitter, Musk tweeted a poll to his followers in March that asked whether users believe Twitter was protecting free speech. He said the poll results, in which roughly 70% of 2 million respondents answered no, and would be very important. So from his poll, we can get a bit of understanding of the user base. A lot of people aren't happy with how Twitter manages free speech. And I would say, arguably, that has been a difficult I want to say a difficult conversation to have, because free speech, unfortunately, is very dependent upon what you define as free speech, right? Like, do I have free speech to tell you to fall off a cliff, literally? Um, or is free speech, hey, I believe in this, this, and this, but I don't get to tell somebody or talk to people in a very nasty or vile way. So that's kind of the issue with the idea of free speech as a whole. So that's going to be an important discussion later. So I'll get to the offer first. So Twitter has announced that it has accepted Musk's offer to acquire the publicly traded company at $54 a share. I believe at the time of, I believe when he first hinted towards buying Twitter, I believe the share was like $34 a share, something like that. Y'all can correct me in the comments if you actually know the number. I believe at the time of the announcement, I believe the share was about 44. I could be totally wrong, but I believe it was like $44 a share. So people were buying shares amidst the idea of Elon actually purchasing Twitter. So at $54.20 a share, it will bring the valuation of the social media platform at $44 billion, right? So that's, I think, depending on the time frame, at 44, I think it's about 20% increase over premium, cash premium over the stock price. So, I mean, that's a nice payout if you own quite a bit of shares, right? Like that's yeah, especially for a company that has been struggling to maintain profitability, from my understanding. So that was a deal that I believe Elon knew they were going to take pretty serious, because they had been struggling with profits. And so the Twitter board, according to Twitter's independent board, the Twitter board conducted a thoughtful and comprehensive process to assess Elon's proposal with a deliberate focus on values, certainty, and financing, which is from Brett Taylor. From the board. And then the board's chief. So Twitter's independent board chair, Brett Taylor, said of the deal, the proposed transaction would deliver a substantial cash premium, which we just discussed, and we believe it is the best path forward for Twitter stockholders. Now that right there got me pondering that they believe selling Twitter is actually the best path forward for Twitter stockholders. Now, I'm not heavily invested into Twitter, to be honest with you. I've gotten back more into it. So that raises a question for me: as did they actually have a plan for Twitter prior to Elon Musk buying it, as far as growing the value or generating value, or have the board themselves been frustrated with the regulations, managing, so on and so forth, dealing with, public government, politics, and I wonder if they didn't quite have a plan either, that would bring Twitter's value to the $54 a share. Now, there's a lot of things that we don't know, so I'm only speculating at this point. However, Elon Musk buying Twitter is how you feel about it really kind of depends on where you land, I would say, along the political spectrum, right? So people who are leaning more middle to right, they're probably excited, happy, well, I won't say probably, they are. They're literally excited. If you're middle left, you're probably excited, but not too excited. You're probably like, eh. But if you're like all the way to the left, like you're not happy. I mean, there's a slew of hit piece after hit piece, of Elon Musk. Now, I'm not going to get into the politics of it. That's not my goal, right? But I do want to say this. Don't be so, how can I put this? Elon Musk is going to have a difficult time pushing free speech. Now, he probably already knows that. I can't verify anything, but I am giving my opinion, right? And actually, there's an article by Shira Ovide, I believe. I hope I didn't mess her name up, right? Her article was titled, "Buying Twitter, Elon Musk will face reality of his free speech talk." And that article, as I was reading it, I felt like Shira was pretty neutral, and also offered a great point of view on the difficulties of platforms maintaining free speech. And I also believe Elon Musk is going to have a hard time, he's going to have a hard time bringing free speech to that reality. Because free speech, as I said before, fortunately and unfortunately, it kind of depends on your belief of what free speech is, right? And a lot of regulations globally, they have, regulations on free speech, on what you could say, what could be, talked about, what could be spread. And it's not going to be easy to push free speech in a world that, well, wants it managed, to be frank about it. It's going to be an interesting journey to see this possibly happen. Now, there's another thing. This is not a done deal, right? This deal can fall and, nothing happens. Now, Elon Musk does have options. He doesn't really have to buy Twitter outright to basically run it, in a sense. I know he tweeted or hinted towards a tender offer in which basically he just buys up a bunch of shares through public, by offering stockholders $54 a share in the same deal, and just kind of buy it. And I don't know if he won't actively like. Well, I think he'll pretty much own it. If I'm mistaken, I have to get a better understanding of how tender offer works. But yeah, so there's a lot of ways he can run Twitter. He can buy up more shares, which I think he can't, because I think he signed as a part of his 9%, $3 billion purchase, that he can't. I think they limited how much he can buy, which was a smart move from Twitter. Trying to protect somebody just having so much voting power that they could basically just do what they want. So, that was a good move. As far as all the hit pieces and stuff, I feel like most people are overreacting. The idea of him trashing Twitter after he just spent $44 billion is not going to happen. he's rich. He's not dumb, right? Like he's not gonna just throw away Twitter. Uh, so that's just not gonna happen. That's just absurd. Especially when he's a fan of Twitter. So that's just not gonna happen. Why somebody tweeted that why didn't he just build his own? Well, why would you when you can just buy one that's already doing well? I mean, that's the point of having money, right? If I can buy a company that's already generating income, why would I start from scratch, right? Like if I want to get into, let's say, construction, um, I'm not gonna. If I got money, I'm not gonna start from scratch. I'm gonna find a company that's doing well and just offer to buy it. Like that. He could, but why would he do that when he can just buy Twitter? So I don't. That tweet was just I don't know what they were thinking. But yeah, so it's just gonna be an interesting journey. They still have to go through SEC, all these other regulations. So it's not a done deal. So I wouldn't celebrate too early. He it's going to depend upon if he can come through with the cash, which he has plenty of money to do it. So I don't see him having much trouble there. And no bank's going to deny him when he got over $200 billion. I mean, financing is dang near guaranteed. But it is going to be an interesting journey. The question that I do agree with a lot of the critics, for the most part, is what is his plan to actually make free speech a reality in the way that he wants to? Because that's going to be the issue, right? Just because you buy it don't mean you can, deliver the platform the way you say it. So it's interesting. He may not be able to. He may. We'll see. I'll keep tracking what's going on and keep providing updates. I'll leave a link to Shira Avade's. I hope I'm not messing her name up. I feel bad. From New York Times, I'll leave a link to her article. I think it's actually a good read. And the struggles for free speech and for platforms. And if you're for it or against it, let me know in the comments. Peace.